Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. My name's Eloisa Ramos, and I'm here with my friends Larry and Lori.
Good
Hi.
morning. Good
Hi,
morning,
good
Lori. Good
morning.
morning,
Good morning.
Eloisa.
Good morning. So we are continuing with the study of the text of A Course in Miracles, and we are beginning a new chapter, chapter 21, Reason and Perception. So I'm going to start with the introduction. Paragraph 1. Projection makes perception. The world you see is what you gave it, nothing more than that. But though it is no more than that, it is not less. Therefore, to you, it is important. It is the witness to your state of mind, the outside picture of an inward condition. As a man thinketh, so does he perceive. Therefore, seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. Perception is a result and not a cause. And that is why order of difficulty in miracles is meaningless. Everything looked upon with vision is healed and holy. Nothing perceived without it means anything. And where there is no meaning, there is chaos. Okay. Okay. So this is one of the best paragraphs
Pretty good.
and one of the most well-known paragraphs that people, quote because it describes projection and perception very, very clearly. Um, and we were just talking about that, Larry and I, before we started. Okay. So the
Mhm.
world that we see with the body's eyes, okay, is a world of perception. And it is made simply by projecting our thoughts, our beliefs, and um, and it reflects back those thoughts and beliefs. So that's line 5. The world witnesses to your state of mind. It's an outside picture of an inward condition. That's why we can use it to see very clearly what we are hiding in our unconscious mind because it's a mirror. Okay. And if we don't like what we see in the world, okay, it's saying you need to address it in your mind, okay, because the source or the cause of the world is in our mind. It's not outside of our mind. Um, that's line 7. Therefore, seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. Okay. Because perception, what we see in the world, is an effect or a result of the thoughts in our mind. And so we need to go back to the level of the mind, which is the causal level, to change. If we want to see change in the world, if we're tired of seeing conflict and war and attack and fear and guilt and sin, we have to go back to our mind and we have to look at the beliefs that we are giving power to that are not true, that are false. And that's what we do with the Holy Spirit. That's what the Holy Spirit um, heals. It's all of those false beliefs, basically. Um, yes, so that's line 10. Everything looked upon with vision, and remember that vision is coming from Holy Spirit, which is our link to knowledge. That is the answer that God gave us to the error of ego separation.
Mhm.
Mhm. And furthermore, if we're not perceiving with the Holy Spirit vision and seeing everything as innocent and holy, then what we are perceiving is basically meaningless. It means doesn't have anything. It's meaningless, and what has no meaning is chaotic. Okay.
I believe very strongly that what we think actually comes into our life. And so that's basically what it's saying. And I'm finding that sometimes what I think is based on what my beliefs. So I have to look at what my beliefs are, which sometimes form my thoughts. And it says in here you can change the world. And we were talking about changing another person, and another person could be the world, in my view. And seeing what's in the other person that I want to help get better, uh, when I see that that's just a mirror, it sort of irritates me because I thought I had that one fixed.
Yeah.
And then I have to go
Well,
back and say, well, maybe it's in me, it's not in you. And
well,
and, and it is a lot of times. So it's I don't see it. Yeah.
not a lot of time, Larry, all the
All the
time.
time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no
And
get out of jail free cards.
yeah, because I have a connection, that I have identification with a body. It's hard to me to realize that I'm actually seeing a body. I can see your actions. I can see what you do, but it's hard for me to realize that you're not even there unless I think it. Because if you're there and everything in my world is there because I think it, holy crap, I'm really pretty powerful to do all that, because I see so many wonderful things. And that if it's only there because I see it, woohoo, you know,
Well,
uh,
okay.
I'm up
So,
there with Jesus.
okay,
I'm
so
kidding,
we're
of course.
yes. So what we see is a private world, okay, which is what we project, which is our past. And we were talking about grievances before, right? So that's what makes up a world of attack and a world of death and destruction and hate. That's what makes up that world is all of our unhealed grievances and our past. Okay, that we are projecting and we're seeing it now in the world because our mind is unhealed. Um, so so the Holy Spirit now is in a position to help us learn that all that we have made can now be used to reverse um, the error, to undo the error, okay, which is the belief in separation. There's only one problem, and it's the belief in separation. So the Holy Spirit vision is teaching us that our only function is forgiveness. So forgiveness of what we're seeing, okay, because what we're seeing is separation. And because separation is an illusion, the more we practice forgiving the illusion, we're forgiving what my brother did not do. You see, that's what an illusion is. We think our brother did something, okay, and we're condemning our brother for what they did, but that's just our own interpretation um, of sin, guilt, and fear, which are illusions. They're also just judgments that are made up in my mind. So all of that is what the Holy Spirit is healing, um, because it's false perception, and that's what projection is. It's false perception. Um,
Last question, and I'll shut up for the rest of the day. Uh, so I have my perception, which is the world that I see, and you have your perception as the world that you see. And is the world you see and the world I see part of the collective? And so why am I seeing what you see if it doesn't really exist? And why are you seeing what I see if I don't really exist?
because it's one ego thought system, and it's
All of
really,
the collective ego thought
well,
system.
we call it a collective, okay, because from the point of view of separation, we think we're all bodies, and all bodies together that are separate come together and form a collective. So in that perception, we are believing that duality is reality, so that you can be
Ah,
separate.
okay, okay. That's
Yeah, and still and not be separate. You see the contradiction?
I do, and I
Yeah,
didn't think of that. So it's like the collective is uh, a belief in separation, so it's an illusion also.
it is. Yes.
Yeah.
because in oneness, only only there is no opposite to oneness, so there is no separation. So there is no individuality.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's at the level of spirit.
Cool.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lori, for dominating.
That's okay.
I know you know the
Larry,
answers. You
Larry,
just
No,
Larry, that's also a private, personal interpretation, right?
yes.
Domination. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
because there's no such thing.
I'm gonna tell Barbara that.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, number 2. Go ahead. Lori, do you want to read number 2?
okay. Damnation is your judgment on yourself, and this you will project upon the world. See it as damned, and all you see is what you did to hurt the Son of God. If you behold disaster and catastrophe, you tried to crucify him. If you see holiness and hope, you joined the will of God to set him free. There is no choice that lies between these two decisions, and you will see the witness to the choice you made and learn from this to recognize which one you chose. The world you see but shows you how much joy you have allowed yourself to see in you and to accept as yours. And if this is its meaning, then the power to give it joy must lie within you. Yep. Um, yeah, I'm learning to see, especially being out here in the desert more by myself, that the things that I'm seeing appear to be outside myself. It's just a reflection of what I'm thinking in my mind. And it's a really wonderful, sometimes very difficult tool for learning to heal my feelings of being separate, being alone. Um, and this, I always have the choice of I can see through holiness and hope and join with the will of God. But there is no choice between these two. Yeah. And you always see the choice you made, which is true. All I have to do is look at what's going on around me and what I choose to see. And sometimes it's very difficult, and other times it's very powerful, and I feel very happy. So it's a big learning curve, Larry.
Indeed.
Big learning curve. And that's why I like joining in the meetings, because we're in this together.
We remind each other, I think.
Oh, well,
You remind me at least.
yeah,
And so does Eloisa.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is really good, paragraph 2, because this is teaching us through contrast. So there's 2 ways of looking at the world, right? One is damnation and one is holiness and hope. Uh, okay, one we made and the other one is given to us by God, because you notice in line 4, it says you joined the will of God. Okay, so there is no individual or alien will in holiness and hope. We're simply recognizing that we are not separate from the will of God. And so we are co creating with the will of God in holiness and hope when we recognize that our brothers are sinless. Um, but damnation is to see our brothers as sinful, as guilty, as fearful. And so the world would appear that way to us: guilty, sinful, deserving of condemnation, deserving of punishment, right? So this is how we justify our attack on others, is through our judgment.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's really a judgment on ourselves. Because remember, the world is not really out there. It's part of our mind and it's just a mirror. So we're actually damning ourselves when we're damning someone else. We can't really attack anyone else because the mind is not uh, because there is nothing other than the mind, and we are that mind. So, okay, line 5, there is no choice that lies between these two decisions. And whichever one we decide, that's what the witnesses that we call forth, and those are the experiences that we're going to have in a world of perception. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the introduction. Let me go ahead and stop here real quick, and we'll pick up on the next section.